question don't come for you. Tell me what you gonna do, what you gonna do. Yeah. Bad boys, what you gonna do?
What's happening? Welcome back. It's the 64th episode. I'm Jimmy. It's a weekly rant, and we got a pretty good show today. Really good show. The intro song, actually, before I get into the rundown, something came across the wire before that I found pretty interesting. I played the Cops Bad Boys theme song because apparently tomorrow's game between the Orioles and the White Sox is actually going to be the first game, according to Fox Sports, the first game in 145 years where there's not going to be anybody in the stands whatsoever. They're actually blocking the game out to the public simply because of, obviously, the rioting, the protesting, the safety of everybody. But, that's actually kind of interesting that the last time there was something as significant, not due to any safety reasons, but the last time there was this little amount of people, if you will, in a stadium, actually was back on April 9th of 97. That was actually involved the White Sox as well at Comiskey Park against the Blue Jays. That was 746 people attended that game. So, I don't know. I don't really care too much for that song as the intro song. We'll mix it up. We'll kind of get back on track here with it.
This is that ice cold Michelle fight for that white gold. This one for them hood girls, them good girls, straight masterpieces. Stylin', wildin', living it up in the city.
All right, I wish I had some sort of, maybe better songs. Anyway, so let's go through the rundown here. That's like the revised version of the opening song here tonight. The rundown today is actually going to be, obviously, starting off with the NHL. Long Island, sorry. New York, your Islanders, they're done. Doors officially closed at the Coliseum. Last game was a couple of days ago. That's it. The Capitals went on to beat the Islanders in 7. We'll talk about that. Capitals and Rangers preview. We're going to go straight into it. Talk about, the injuries and how it's going to affect the team and who's coming back for the Rangers. Really key player coming back for them on defense. The Mets. Not going to cover too much baseball. It's still early on in the season. Not really too much going on. I'm actually not a fan of how they have the Subway Series so early in the year when it really means nothing. But the Mets, 13 of 15, they've won. And the Yankees, they've just recently won 9 of 11. So New York baseball is clearly starting off on the right foot, and that's always good to see, especially with the Rangers in the playoffs, the Islanders in the playoffs, the Nets in the playoffs. So New York sports is doing pretty good right now, except for the Jets, who just came out and said that they're going to be passing on Mariota should he drop to number 6. And also, the Jets were fined $100,000. Let you know why. A-Rod takes aim at Mays. 660 home runs. Will he do it? Brooklyn. Like I just said, Brooklyn's in the playoffs for basketball. They just evened up the series last night, 120-115 over Atlanta. Williams had 35 points, and it's 2-2 going back to Atlanta, so break that down just a little bit. Really not a big fan of basketball, so we'll let that one go. Buffalo Fenians. We have guest on the show tonight, Matthew Lomot from Buffalo, the fullback. So he'll be calling in. He'll be joining us at 8:30 tonight. We'll be discussing the matchup. That's where they're coming down to Gaelic Park, where actually we did a couple of interviews last May at Gaelic Park when they played the NYPD as they opened up their season. Last year was an unfortunate loss. NYPD came up to Buffalo. Buffalo got them back. So after that, we'll finish up with the rant. But so to start off here, like I said, the Islanders. Now, my hat, my shirt, I'm a Rangers fan, obviously. Always going to games, and it's just this past week and a half or so, I've been going insane, reading all this stuff about what Islander fans have been doing at the Coliseum. It's been an absolute bunch of nonsense. Barstool Sports coming out and putting an article about how it's their time to just be barbaric Viking fans, destroy the Coliseum, take the seats, keep people's cars. You know, it's absurd. It really is absurd. It reminds me of when, who was that? That was Boston. Boston Bruins, Vancouver Canucks, Stanley Cup. Vancouver loses the Stanley Cup Finals. They basically set their city on fire, riding across the board. You know, it made me kind of be happy that the Rangers were not playing the Islanders because, come on, not for nothing, you can't tell me that there was not going to be one potential death. You know, I mean, the fighting going on constant. It's just, you're atypical, it's your typical Islander fan. They're just a bunch of belligerent drunks, and it's an embarrassment on the organization. Obviously, let me rephrase that. There's one core group, if you will, 1% of Islander fans who acted that way. But let me tell you, I mean, the reputation they gave that entire organization throughout is just a disgrace, an absolute disgrace. Islander fans got what they deserved, is seeing their team lose, not having the benefit of watching them throughout the playoffs, because, to be quite honest, you're putting a bad name out there for the entire NHL, you know? So I'm kind of, yeah, there's part of me that did want to see the Islander-Ranger matchup, but you know what? Screw them. I'm so happy the Islanders are out. I'm so happy those fans have nothing to root for, because you know what? Let's be serious. They're not going to make that trip to Brooklyn to see the Islanders play. I don't think hockey belongs in Brooklyn. Anyways, Johnny Tavares, 2 goals, 4 assists in 7 games. He had more of a presence on the ice where, let's say, probably more of a decoy than anything else. He made great plays out there. He played pretty physical for himself as well. Obviously, everyone would have wanted to see him shoot a lot more because, let's say, what happened last night, Game 7. Islanders had 11 shots on goal. 3 in the first, 3 in the second, 5 in the third. I mean, come on, you're not going to win Game 7. You're not going to win any game with 11 shots on goal. You know, obviously they got lucky and it was just 1-1 at that point. And then I don't know what happened. I don't know. That final goal where Boychuk basically stepped in front of net as Halak came out of his crease and Kuznetsov, or whoever the hell it was for Washington, made actually kind of a miraculous play. But Boychuk decided to block the puck, and terrible attempt. There's your 2-1. Islanders weren't coming back from that. Throughout the series, though, it was fast-paced up until last night. Game 7 last night was so slow. It was like a regular season matchup. I almost had no interest in it. You're also not going to win a single playoff game, unless you're like the Rangers, who find ways to do this. You're not going to win a single playoff game, Islanders, if you do what you did, and that's going 0 for 14 on the power play. So that's not going to happen. Halak did what he had to do. You know, he had a .926 save percentage throughout. He was pretty good, not going to lie. Yeah, there were a couple of bad goals, especially the first one that he let up last night, but he was pretty good. You got to give the guy credit for what he's done this year. And understand that Halak is not by any means a great goalie. He's not even a top 10 goalie. You're looking at Holtby, also for Washington. Not a great goalie. Yes, I understand he had 40-some-odd wins this year. Yes, I know he also was in 73 games this year. Goalies will have years where they'll perform better than what their career accolades prove. This was a clear case of that, where when Halak was with the Blues, you know, he's a head case. You put him on a team where he's going to lose 3 games in a row, forget about it. Forget about it. You keep him in net in a 5-goal game, again, the guy's going to make more mistakes. And it's not many goalies are like that, although what I've seen this year out of Halak was he rebounded so well. And he performed great for that team. He really, really did. The Islanders have a lot of work for next year. A lot of work to do for themselves. I think Capuano needs to stay. I don't think he's going anywhere at all. The young talent on this team is actually really good. They only collapsed down the stretch. I honestly don't know why. There were a few injuries, but they're going to be good next year. If not as good, they might be better, to be honest with you. Now knowing what they can achieve as a team, you know, now knowing what the lines really should be, what they need to be. You got to remember, Okposo was even out for a while, and he's one of their key players. He had the detached retina in the middle of the season. And they stood their ground. They still played well even without him. So the Islanders are going to come back strong next year. They're still going to be just as good. Got nothing to worry about there. I think the biggest worry for next year is what it's going to be like going to Brooklyn. What the fan base is going to be like, not just for the first 5 games of the season, not just for the season opener. What's it going to be like the entire year? That's the biggest question on hand. But we'll see. The Islanders run is over. The Coliseum's run is over with the Islanders at least. Hey, hockey's off Long Island. What are you going to do? Ranger fans, most of them are happy, but who knows? Who knows what's in the work? Maybe they can break that contract somehow and come back. They think they had a 25-year contract with Brooklyn. So that's that. On the other hand, the Rangers, my boys, they didn't play well. They won the series against Pittsburgh Penguins. They beat them in 5 games, 4-1. The unfortunate thing, they didn't score. Unlike the Islanders, they actually did shoot. But Fleury stood his ground, just like Halak did. Fleury played out of his mind. He really did. And I don't think Fleury's anything great either. I really don't. I can go all day about it. I think Fleury is actually possibly a terrible goalie, to be honest with you. I know he won a cup. I know they're always in the playoffs. But you got to realize the team that's in front of him, game in and game out, and how good they really are as a whole team. Either way, Rangers 1-5. I predicted, I believe, 6. The problem with everything was that every win for the Rangers was 2-1. All 4 wins, 2-1. It was nice to see that they took both in Pittsburgh because that was huge. In the NHL, when it comes to playoffs, if you ask me, I've always thought this too, that the most important game in the series is Game 2. Because if you're the home team, you lose Game 2, now you're going on the road. That team, obviously, to me, has full-on advantage. Aside from taking away home ice advantage, I mean, they're coming back into their home. And the crowd's going to be wild knowing that they split. Well, guess what? The Penguins did that, and that made me a little nervous. Because you got to take into effect, obviously, you got the Crosby factor. You got the Malkin factor. Yes, you have the Fleury factor. The team, although they were deflated on defense, say deflated, got a couple of footballs here. Going to talk about the Jets in a minute, and Revis. But their defense, they had 3 injuries, key injuries too, nonetheless. And the Rangers really had no momentum. There were a couple of fast games, but they really need to shoot the puck a lot more than they did. They missed a lot of opportunities throughout. They really should have swept the Penguins. They really, really honestly should have swept the Penguins. Lundqvist played great. Lundqvist had a .939 save percentage. I think every game other than one was 3 goals. That was it. So there was a very low-scoring series. And now, Rangers and Capitals. The 5th freaking time since 2009. I'm getting a little sick of it. Not going to lie. The last 2 series that they played, 2012, 2013. Both those games, both those series, went to 7. Rangers took both of them. It's kind of like the Yankees and the Twins. When the Yankees and the Twins meet in the playoffs, the Yankees have their number. Doesn't matter. Twins don't stand a chance. They're going down. I hate to jinx it, but hey, guess what? Let's call a spade a spade. The Rangers have the Capitals' number. In previous playoff series, which, I know you really can't compare it to because over the years, yes, there's different teams, different players. But even this season, when not too many moves had been made, even this season itself, the Rangers were 3-1. Their only loss to the Capitals came when it was 5-2. I believe that was one of Lundqvist's first game back. Could be mistaken about that, I'm not sure. But that was towards the end of the season. That was their second to last home game, I believe, or third to last home game. Ovechkin had 2 goals, but it was 5-2. And that was that. It wasn't a problem to let that one go. Rangers made their ground. They got the President's Trophy. That's the one thing right now that a lot of people are worried about is the President's Trophy. The last time the Rangers won the Cup, yes, they won the President's Trophy. I'm not too sure the last team that did. I think it was Boston, actually, that did it. Or Chicago, rather. Yeah, Chicago was the last team to win the Stanley Cup and win the President's Cup trophy. Either way. Last series, the Capitals. Now, I said that the Islanders were over 14. Capitals weren't much better. Capitals went 2 for 13 on the power play. That's a spot that's going to haunt them because the Rangers are one of the best teams in the league in the penalty kill. But at the same time, they're also the worst team on the power play. They came through against the Penguins at 15% with the 3 for 20 on the power play. One of those power play goals was by McDonough, which basically was the sealer on one of the games. One thing that I wonder is with Holtby. Holtby, the Capitals goalie, coming into this series, he's now played a total of 80 games. 73 in the regular season. Actually, no, I forget. Their backup played a couple of games. So he must played 76, 77 games. Holtby. Makes you wonder, how tired is this guy going to be? How much further can he possibly go? We'll see. It all depends on the Rangers, because one thing you got to realize and what you got to look for with last year's the Rangers and the Penguins had a ton of penalties, but the Penguins always have penalties. They lead the league in penalties. One reason I believe they drew the Rangers drew 20 penalties against the Penguins last series was because the Penguins could not keep up with the pace. Therefore, Penguins got to take those cheap shots. They got to make those trippings, those holdings, the hookings to slow a team down. Well, that's not going to happen in this series because the Capitals are pretty fast. You got Backstrom, you have Johansson, you have Ovechkin, obviously. You still got Green at the point back there. They're a fast team. Some can argue that the Capitals could actually give them more trouble than the Islanders would have. Again, because the Islanders were injured. Either way, they're out. This is going to be a very interesting series. I do have the Rangers in 6. But I think it's going to be a close 6. I'm thinking there might actually be a double overtime game in there somewhere. I'm thinking there's only going to be one game that's going to be separated by more than one goal. I think it's going to be the same exact thing as the Penguins series, where it's 1-goal games. That's it. Not too many penalties. The Rangers don't take many penalties, which is huge. And that's one thing that they don't want to do in this series, is take penalties. Because you're talking about Ovechkin, who had 27 power play goals in the regular season. Get the guy off the ice. You don't want any penalties for that. So that's going to be one big key factor right there, is obviously the Ovechkin factor. Again, Rangers won 3-1 in the regular season. I think that's going to carry over. They obviously have the target on their back for winning the President's Trophy. The Capitals did it too, though. Capitals won the President's Trophy just a few years back. So this series has a little bit more meaning to it than anything else, which I like a lot. They know each other, that's for sure. They constantly meet. I think Washington's team is it's almost the same team that they've had since 2012 and 2013 when they last met. And again, both those series also went to Game 7s. I think they're really going to be coming back out. They're going to be coming firing with a vengeance, going after the Rangers hardcore. They're pumped. You have your cliche factors. Yes, you're going to New York. You're going to Madison Square Garden, the world's most famous arena, playing hockey, yada, yada, yada. The thing with the Rangers that I like is that's nothing that gets in their head. They don't care about that. I don't think the Rangers have a worry in the world about playing under pressure of anything whatsoever. Your key factors when it comes to Washington, Holtby. What's he going to do in net? Is he going to stay strong? Is he going to stay healthy? Is he tired at all? That's one thing they're going to see. They do have a few days off where Game 1 is Thursday. Another factor, obviously, Ovechkin. He is your number one factor, if anything. The guy had borderline a career year. He just came out of the woodworks firing. Had a phenomenal season. So that's one player they're going to want to watch out for. They're going to want to contain. The fact that the Rangers had contained Malkin and Crosby. Now, Malkin wasn't a shell of himself. He's still not healthy. But the fact that the Rangers contained the both of them, that's a plus. Can they do it again? Here's the next key factor for the Rangers. Next key factor is that Kevin Kline's coming back. Kevin Kline hasn't played a game since that 5-2 loss to Washington when Ovechkin had a shot, blasted him in the arm, broke his arm, and up until just a couple of days ago, they were saying that Kline's arm actually isn't healing right. He may not be ready. Well, he's ready, and I don't think he's going to think twice. I don't think he's going to be afraid to jump in front of another slap shot by Ovechkin, because that's who Kline is. That's who he is. One of the biggest losses, though, as we now have a gain, we now have a loss for the Rangers. Matt Zuccarello. Again, a total full diagnosis hasn't come out yet. But back in game 5 in the first period, 5 minutes left. Took a slap shot from McDonough in the helmet. Just went down. Yeah, there's rumors all over, and they're uncredited rumors. I mean, worth saying that, hey, yeah, hemorrhaging, bleeding around the brain, and, you know, what's going to happen with them. Right now, concussion-related, out indefinitely. We'll see what happens. It's going to be a problem, though, because Zuccarello out there is one of their top forwards. Absolutely huge for them, especially when you have Nash out there who, just like last year, Nash is not scoring. He needs to step up. St. Louis, he needs to step up. You have players that you're almost not expecting to step up, which we can all appreciate. Stepan, Brassard, McDonough with the scoring, rather, not that he's not stepping up. Even Girardi. You know, it's nice, and I'd really like to see them actually shoot the puck a lot more from the point, especially now that Klein is back. I think Klein, coming back from the Predators, I think Klein was one of the best pickups the Rangers actually had. So the fact that he's healthy, I love it. You know, we'll see what's going to happen there. I'm not as confident with this series as I was with the Penguins, although I do say, honestly, I do feel that it's going to be Rangers in 6. Mets and Yankees. Not too much here. Again, in a few moments, we'll be having Matthew Lomot join us from the Buffalo Fenians, so we're looking forward to that call. The Mets. Mets are first place. I know Met fans really never, ever hear that, or at least in the past, 10 years? 15-5. They got a big weekend coming up. Big weekend against Washington. Bryce Harper. Right now they're playing the Marlins. And actually really cool last night when I was watching the game, the hockey game, scrolling around my phone and got a text from one of my buddies. He's telling me that Dylan G, what was he, 59 pitches going into the 9th inning. 59 pitches. So now, the other pitcher for the Marlins, I forgot, co-star, maybe he's the one that came in, I forget. Guy was throwing 93 pitches into the 9th inning. And then, anyways, Mets ended up winning 3-1. Boring game, nothing throughout. But it was just crazy that G actually threw 59 pitches going to the 9th. That's an accomplishment, I guess. Congratulations, Mets fans. You got a great team. Your season's over the All-Star break. The Yankees, 12-8. They are first place. At 12-8, first place for the Yankees. To me, that goes to show how terrible the American League East is. The AL East, or the AL East, it's abysmal. Absolutely abysmal. And the fact that the Yankees are 4 games over 500, wow, that's astonishing. They're actually overachieving right now. I was discussing that with a few friends earlier. They really are overachieving at 12-8. Teixeira's got 5 bombs. A-Rod's got, 5 or 6 bombs as well. He's coming up on May's 660. You know, I actually don't know who these Yankees are, to be honest with you. They're actually playing good ball. They're playing good ball. My sister's there tonight, actually. I wish I was going there. I'll be there next week on May 7th versus the Orioles. So that'll be nice. Yeah, I'm actually concerned about Tanaka. He's been playing well. But, quite frankly, I actually wonder with Tanaka, you have all these Tommy John surgeries that are going on. I actually wonder, is he going to pitch more than 12 games? We don't know. And as far as the rest of their pitching staff goes, I don't think anything great. Sabathia, what is Sabathia? 0-4? He's garbage. The guy put on 50 pounds in the offseason. He's back to being 325 again at 330, you know, how he weighed in. And it's just an absolute embarrassment. I think the Yankees need to address that problem. I don't think there'd be any legal issues with the Yankees telling him, hey, dude, you got to lose weight. That's that. But right now we are going to welcome in Matthew Lomot with the Buffalo Fenians, 4th-year fullback. Matt, what's going on, buddy? How are you?
How are you doing, Jimmy? How's things on the other side of the state?
Oh, things on the southern side of the state, if you will. Yeah, they're going good for me, man. They're going good for me as a Ranger fan. I know you're an Islander fan living up in Buffalo.
Yeah, well, I get the best of both worlds.
Little odd. Listen, I appreciate you calling in. I want to talk to you real quick about something that's real touching. And again, I want to apologize. I'm sorry for your loss with Eric Fuller. Eric Fuller, who was, as obviously you know, and we'll discuss this, a member of the Buffalo Fenians family, who just recently passed away. He leaves behind his wife Crystal and his children Olivia and Quinn. And you guys are having a benefit for him at the Iris Center. If you don't mind, can you just speak a little bit on Eric Fuller?
Yeah, Eric, he was a great man. I've known him for basically all 4 years I've been involved with the club. And fantastic friend to have. It's just unfortunate what happened a few months ago when he was diagnosed with metastatic melanoma. Basically, when they found it, it was pretty late in the stages, so the spirits were still up, and so we had scheduled to have this benefit for him on May 17th coming up. And unfortunately, he passed just before us last weekend. He lost his fight with cancer. But, he's going to a better place. He's in no pain anymore. We appreciate your words of support. And he has his family have had the honor of him being buried in Arlington National Cemetery as a veteran of the U.S. Navy. So
that's incredible. That really is incredible. I want to send out my regards to him, his family. Now, with this benefit that's coming up for those, obviously this is in Buffalo, and I'm down on Long Island. For those that cannot attend, that would like to donate to the cause, is there any way that they can reach out to you or to anybody to help out with the situation?
Sure, of course, yeah. If you get in contact through the Buffalo Fenians Facebook page, Buffalo Fenians GA, there are tickets for sale, $25. I know a lot of people like yourself can't make it. They've bought tickets as a donation, and it's been fantastic the support we've had so far. I think we have a GoFundMe account for them, which I think at last check was around $8,000. Huge help. So yeah, people are more than encouraged to donate. The family in need right now, and any else support we can give them.
Right. Now, kind of want to turn to the other side here. So this weekend's a big weekend for you guys. And last year I was out there as the team's coming down. The Buffalo Fenians are coming down to play NYPD at Gaelic Park, right?
We are. We'll be there once again this year. We're invited back by Sergeant Peter McCormick of the NYPD, he is the chairperson. And so it's a great honor for us to be back in Gaelic Park again in the Bronx. 7 o'clock this Saturday night. It should be a good time. Everybody's encouraged to come out.
So now, last year when I was there, it was awesome because the earlier game was County Mayo and New York.
Yeah, last year the Mayo and New York game, yeah.
And I mean, there must have been close to about 10, 12,000 fans at the stadium there, which was absolutely intense.
Yeah, I know the stands only hold somewhere between 6 and 8. But you could see all the people that couldn't even get a seat, and they were just standing out on the field, and they were sitting up on the hills. Mm-hmm. Oh, it was huge.
Yeah,
couldn't believe it.
That was incredible. And now last year, you were, obviously the full team could not attend the first game against the NYPD, and you unfortunately took the loss there. But when the NYPD came up, I was thinking to myself, as I also covered that event for you guys, that maybe the NYPD won't be able to bring up their full team. Oh no. I think they brought up more guys to Buffalo than they had for the home game.
Yeah, I don't think you're wrong there. They brought a huge squad.
But you guys took care of business.
Yeah, we were able to, field our whole team for that game. That was a big one to hold for us here. A huge honor, again, for them to come up. But we took it to them, and we might have, the night before might have had a little effect on them, but whatever.
Hey, either way, you both got to show up.
You know too well that bars here close at 4 a.m., so they got a nice surprise.
Yeah, it's funny. They were asking me the night before. They said, "Hey, are you familiar with the area?" I says, "Yeah, a little too familiar." Why? They says, where can we go? I immediately started thinking to myself, "Oh man, I think I might want to send them to the craziest place that will keep them there as long as possible."
That's pretty much what happened. They had their big party in one of the suburbs. A couple of the police took them out there, Buffalo police, and they basically said, "Okay, it's 12, 1 o'clock, whatever time it was." They said, "Okay, we're done here. We'll take you wherever you want to go." And I said, "Well, take us to the party." And they took them.
All right. Now, one thing I want to talk about, being that you do live in Buffalo, and just last week they had the lottery draft for the NHL.
Yeah, just another Buffalo thing. Coming last place 2 years in a row and don't get the first pick.
Okay, and that's exactly what I want to obviously touch on here. Is you have two elite prospects that are going out there. One in Connor McDavid and one in Jack Eichel. So you're not going to get Connor McDavid. He's going to be going to Edmonton. But you're going to get Jack Eichel. Now, what was the city's reaction? Was it more, we were devastated that we're not getting Connor McDavid, who right now is absolutely tearing it up in the playoffs? Or is it...
I would say that... go ahead.
No, it's or the other thing is, now you have, even Tim Murray was saying that it's not, he's not even treating Jack Eichel as a runner-up pick,
I'd say not whatsoever. I mean, we've watched Jack here in Buffalo. I was actually at the USA versus USA game they had back in November here. I mean, he's an amazing kid, amazing player. You can't lose in the first two picks of this draft. It was just the frustration of the way it worked out for the first 5 minutes once the picks came in. And then, I mean, you even saw it on the people's face on TV. Bill Daly and Connor McDavid, they both had smugs on their, nobody wanted it to go that way.
No, because...
this is actually in the NHL's, it wasn't in their best interest at all for it to work. So it wasn't fixed. If it was going to work out for them, they would have sent McDavid to Toronto, Eichel to Buffalo, and you would have had a rivalry for 15 years.
Exactly. No, you're absolutely right.
So it was the shock that it didn't happen for the first 5 minutes. Then you realize, oh yeah, that's right, we're still getting Jack Eichel. Yeah. We're okay.
You absolutely are. Again, we're speaking with Matt Lomot, fourth year as fullback with the Buffalo Fenians. You're also the registrar for the Fenians, and you're also the pro for the Midwest Division. And for those of out there that don't know, the pro meaning the public relations officer. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yep, I took that seat. This is my second year now in that position.
So, what exactly are your duties as the pro for the Midwest Division? Really?
Well, basically, just keep up and manage all the news from all the clubs in the division. It includes Syracuse, Rochester, Albany, Cleveland, Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, Detroit. It's very expansive, and you just, run the website, run the Facebook, any kind of media that needs to go out there, just try to keep up with it on a daily basis on goings on.
Now, there was also some news over the winter with Paul Mulcair actually getting an award, right?
Yeah, Paul, he was invited to Ireland, and he won the top award you can win as an international Gaelic Athletic Association man. He was named the basically Man of the Year, International Man of the Year. So a huge honor for him and the club, and it's a testament to the hard work he put in, all the hard work we put in behind him to put him in that position. Yeah,
as you know, I've been fortunate enough to spend some time at your club in the past year and a half, almost 2 years now, and just the way that I see things run as an organization, the way that I see your team gather through so many different events together, it really is incredible, and it really just goes to show the hard work and dedication of everybody within your organization. And that's something that you as a whole should all be very proud of. And it's unfortunate that I can't make the game this weekend. And this weekend's game is 7 o'clock at night, right, at Gaelic Park?
Yeah, 7 o'clock on Saturday night, and then at 3 o'clock Sunday afternoon is the big game where New York is going to play Galway this year.
Wow. Wow.
So it'll be packed for 2 days in a row now.
So I know it's a little bit of a soft topic for you, but I gotta ask, your Islanders, how you feeling about them?
Man, I don't really even know what to say. I wasn't able to watch the game last night, and
You didn't miss
I kind
much,
of
that's for
felt
sure.
like I apparently, 9 or 11 shots, whatever it was.
Yeah.
I don't remember. I was listening to Boomer and Con this morning. They were talking about it a little bit.
Yeah.
But it sounded pathetic. And I was happy for them throughout the year. But it's the same way I feel about the Yankees right now. Overachieving.
Oh, absolutely. I just said that. Absolutely, yeah.
Did not see the Islanders in the position, and nobody did, because I tell you, everybody here in Buffalo was counting them being one of the last place spots, because we still have their first round pick this year.
You have their pick, and you also have the Blues pick.
Right. So we were banking on them, not doing well. Beginning of the year, they're in first place for like 4 months in a row. It's like, oh, come on, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah, I mean, when a team plays that well for that long, it's kind of tough to say, are they really overachieving? Because at the end of the day, I was saying to myself, I really saw them as a 4, 5, 6 seed team. So where they fell is really where I had expected them. But you got to give them credit where credit is due, and they played phenomenal, even with the losses they had throughout the year.
Yeah, no, they actually, you're right. They fell in the spot I kind of thought they would. Like the middle of the road team. Obviously, another first round exit is upsetting. But, at the same time, they're just not hitting the right pieces. And you see it every year, because all they're doing the last 2 years is trading for Buffalo's backup goalie, and somehow it's, gets them to a point and then just drops off. That's all they had is old Buffalo goalies.
I found
and
it
look how well they're doing.
I found it kind of comical that when Neuwirth was first traded, he had a string of 6, 7 games where he was just lights out and just destroying the team.
Unbelievable.
And so all of a sudden now Buffalo trades for Lindback coming from Dallas, who Lindback statistically was at the time the worst goalie in the entire NHL, and all of a sudden he comes to Buffalo
awful.
and he's lights out.
You know what happened with him, and he came out and said it, and so did the coaching staff, is that, the first couple of games here in Buffalo, he was still pretty bad. Mm-hmm. And Buffalo's goalie coach now is Arthur Serbe. And what he did is he pretty much took him under his wing and said, look, stop flopping around all over the ice and follow the puck. And basically that's all he did, and he played lights out for a good 2 weeks. And it scared the crap out of everybody here in Buffalo that we're going to lose one of those picks.
Yeah. Now, I think isn't the draft this year actually at the Harbor Center downtown?
But I think that's next year.
Oh, next year, okay. All right.
I'm pretty sure.
All right, well, we'll have to check that one out. Well, listen, Matt, I really appreciate you calling in, buddy. I wish you guys nothing but the best. Again, please send my regards to the Fuller family. And I'm going to find a way myself to get in contact with you afterwards and donate and do anything I can. And I hope to see you guys soon. I will be up in Buffalo to see everybody. And again, best of luck this weekend to you guys. All right, buddy?
Sounds good, buddy. Thank you for all the support over the years. And, yeah, we'll definitely see you soon.
Absolutely, Matt. Thanks, buddy. Take care. Good luck.
All right, thank you. Goodbye, Jimmy.
Bye-bye. That's a great guy right there. He's from Long Island. His family's from Amityville here, and I met him about 2 years ago at one of the first games that I went to, and then last year when I covered both the games for the Fenians and the NYPD. Again, everybody in their organization, from top to bottom, even with Antonio Grazzi, who has been on the show a few times, who's called in a few times, to Connor Hawkins, Patrick Walsh, Paul Mulcair, everybody within the Fenians organization is just really, really great character. Everyone is wonderful there. And they also have a great golf outing, by the way. Awesome. Except for last year. Last year, we didn't fare too well. Really didn't fare too well at all. But anyway, so, again, that was that. He's now the fan. I feel sorry for him as well. All right. Anyways, moving on here. Just a couple of more things to cover here. The Jets, according to Rich Cimini of ESPN, the Jets have reported that they're they're not going to go after Marcus Mariota. Apparently, they feel happy. They feel content with Geno Smith behind center and also Ryan Fitzpatrick. I don't know at what point they decided, hey, we want to keep these guys. We're happy. We like them. Sorry, Geno Smith has never been good for the organization. He's never been good for the club at all, not one bit. Ryan Fitzpatrick, I believe, isn't he coming off of a broken leg? He was in Buffalo for however long, didn't perform too well. Then he was with the Texans. Yeah, they were the Texans. I don't know what they're expecting out of him either. They're not going to get a great quarterback battle to see who's going to play. That's all we know. But they're willing to trade down for multiple picks. Okay, I guess. I mean, I know there's a lot of teams out there that have been contacting them that want to trade for Muhammad Wilkerson. If I was the Jets, I'd keep him. What are you losing for? All right, you want to get more picks out of him too? And you want to lose your number 6 pick, get more picks? What's that going to do for you guys? I don't know. The Jets are really making me nervous here. Not that I'm a Jet fan at all, but I don't see this panning out well at all. Besides the fact that Mariota is not going to drop to 6. He's going number 2 to the Titans, so I don't know why they're trying to make news about this. Lastly, let's see. Brooklyn evens up the series with Atlanta. I don't think, like I said in my post the other day, I don't think anybody in either Atlanta or Brooklyn honestly cares about this series. It looks like, yeah, there's that potential, possibility, maybe, that the Nets will upset the Hawks. Who knows? Bottom line is, not who knows. Who cares? No one cares. This first round, these playoffs are. I have no freaking hair, and I just want to rip it out. I can't stand to watch the first round basketball playoffs. First, what were there, 4, 5 sweeps already? Teams that don't belong in it. The Eastern Conference, 2, 3 teams I think it were that were under 500. I mean, come on. They need to do something with the NBA where teams just don't make the playoffs if you got a sub 500 record. I know it's kind of impossible because the Eastern Conference just sucks. They are so bad. And I don't know how that's possible. I'm happy LeBron stayed in the East. I really am happy. Because without him in the East, it just makes this conference even worse. And I think I discussed all of that last week, or the last post. And so I'm kind of through talking about basketball for a little bit here until next show. Next show is also going to be next week. I don't think there would be any Ranger games scheduled for that Tuesday. If there were, we'll do a show anyways. We're coming back. We're going to be here every Tuesday again. I know for the past maybe 2 months or so, shows have just been scattered. Some on Wednesdays, some on Mondays, some not at all for the past, however many weeks and everything. But I assure you, shows coming back Tuesday. All's going to be well. We'll be back in the runnings. By the way, this Friday, if you're around, go to the Ducks game. The Ducks are the season opener, 6:35 this Friday. I'm going to start going to more Ducks games. I usually go to about 5, 10 a year. The stadium is awesome. They actually, their revenue is the most in the Atlantic League. They're roughly at about almost $10 million. Opposed to any other team that's, anywhere between the $6 and $7 million figures. It's a 6,000-seat arena that they average 5,500 people. Well, guess what? That's a great venue. That's a great place to go. The Ducks are a great team. They just come off of a championship season not too long ago. I think it was 2013 was the last one, and then 2012. It's awesome. They started the season, so I think they're already off to a 3-1 record. Again, Friday, home opener. If you can, get down to it. And, that's pretty much that. Just trying to find the song here. So we'll bump into the rant, as we haven't done a rant in, a long time.
Well, you can tell everybody. Yeah, you can tell everybody. Go ahead and tell everybody I'm the man, I'm the man, I'm the man. Yes I am, yes I am, yes I am. I'm the man, I'm the man, I'm the man.
All right, this week's rant. This week's rant is actually going to be about Game 4. Game 4, first round, Rangers Penguins. Maxime Lapierre. Maxime Lapierre is a complete tool. I'm sorry. I'm trying to figure out who's actually worse between their diving, their embellishment, and all their absolute nonsense and garbage. Game 4 comes around. He decides he's going along the benches. He got Dominic Moore. Both benches are right here. But both of them decide to jump into their bench, except they kind of collide. And when I say kind of collide, Dominic Moore had his hands up. He hit Lapierre right in the chest. Previously this year, the NHL has cracked down. They've been fining and suspending guys for embellishment, diving, all this nonsense. Did Lapierre get anything for it? No, absolutely not. Why? I have no idea. What am I talking about? The fact that Dominic Moore had his hands cross-checking him, minimally, just pushing him almost, right here in the chest. Lapierre then drops his stick on the ground, puts his hands over his face as if he got punched in the face, pretending as if he's bleeding, jumps on the bench. Next thing you know, he's telling their trainer, basically, hey, I'm not hurt. I just faked a call. Just lean over my shoulder, keep talking to me, pretend like I actually got hurt so we can play this out the right way. Guess what? He drew a penalty. Pittsburgh did not score on that power play, but you got to be kidding me. This is something that you really don't see too much in the NHL. And unfortunately, it's out there a lot more, but for a good reason, that they really are cracking down on it. Not like in the NBA, where you see guys flopping all over the place. I understand they're finding them now too. Congratulations. Welcome to the club. The NHL, you don't see it too often, though. You don't really see the flopping, the diving, the embellishment. You don't see it because it's a real man's game. They know what they're getting into. They know they're playing a physical game, and that's just it. I love last night how the Island game, they let them play. Only one penalty. So guess what? Take the game for what it's worth. Take the hit. Give a hit. Don't fake anything. If you're faking because you know that you can't stand up to a team like the Rangers who's just as fast, and you really got to say, you know what, let's just start drawing penalties. What is this, Charlie Conway and the Mighty Ducks? With Coach Gordon Bombay saying, Charlie, if you're in the corner, take a slash to the face, we can draw a penalty so you can get a penalty shot out of this? Come on, there ain't no cheating in this sport. Stop being a baby. I'm so glad the Penguins are out, because honestly, also at Crosby, he had one really, really blatant play where he also dove. Other than that, I was really happy I didn't see anything out of him. Still, they need to start finding this kid too. I'm sick of his nonsense as well. I'm just glad that the Penguins are out. But as far as this embellishment goes, the Penguins are the #1 team to embellish calls. They are out of the league. They are out of the playoffs, and I'm happy. So they're done with. Anyways, like I said, show next Tuesday. Looking forward to that one as well. We'll be breaking down how the series has been going with the Rangers and the Capitals. We'll get back to you and let you know how the series pans out with the Brooklyn Nets and the Atlanta Hawks. Again, not like anybody really cares, but that'll probably be the second round of the playoffs for the NBA. And, we'll start breaking down some more games. We'll see where the Yankees and the Mets sit. See if A-Rod can come back, and if A-Rod, because he's not playing tonight, but see if A-Rod can hit 660. And, that's that. So, again, I do want to thank Matt Lomot from the Buffalo Fenians for calling in. I do really appreciate it. Again, best of luck to your team. And, hey, guess what? Best of luck to the NYPD as well. Both these teams are real stand-up guys, real class. It's a really great venue for it. So, again, thank you very much, everybody. And, hey, we'll see you next Tuesday.